Okay, so I wanted to talk a little bit about a hard-boiled detective that made it to contemporary movies. And it's interesting to note that the movies turned into a series, and then after the series ended, novels were written based on the movies. And the character in series name is Dirty Harry, played by Clint Eastwood. And we talked about Clint Eastwood back in our uh, Lit 4 class. So here we are again with Clint Eastwood playing his most famous detective role. And it was actually based on a real person, David Tocci, from the Zodiac killings, an investigator who inspired Dirty Harry. There was an archetype for this type of cop, a real detective who spent 34 years with the San Francisco Police Department. During that time, he worked on more than 100 homicide cases. So, Inspector Harold Francis Callahan, born October 24th, 1928, nicknamed Dirty Harry, is a fictional character and protagonist of the Dirty Harry film series. Callahan is portrayed by Clint Eastwood in each film. In his debut, Callahan became the template of a new kind of film cop, an antihero who does not hesitate to cross professional boundaries in pursuit of his own vision of justice, especially when the law is poorly served by an inept, incompetent bureaucracy. All of the Dirty Harry films appear Callahan killing criminals, mostly in gunfights. Phrases he utters in armed robbery standoffs. Made famous, go ahead, make my day. Or, do you feel lucky? Well, do you? These phrases have become iconic. As the 1971 film was criticized for carrying fascist or at least authoritarian undertones, the sequels attempted to become more balanced by pitting Harry against villains with a broader ideological spectrum. The biography of our fictional Inspector Callahan is he's an inspector with the San Francisco Police Department, usually with the Homicide Department, although for disciplinary or political reasons, he is occasionally transferred to less prominent units, such as or just sent out of town on mundane research assignments. Callahan's primary concern is protecting and avenging the victims of violent crime. Though proficient at apprehending criminals, his methods are often unconventional. While some claim that he is prepared to ignore the law and professional ethical boundaries regarding them as needless red tape, hampering justice, his methods are usually within the law. He takes advantage of situations that justify his use of deadly force. When a group of men holding hostages in a liquor store in the movie The Enforcer demanded a getaway car, Callahan delivers one by driving the car through the store's plate glass window, then shooting the robbers. Rather than following the rules of the police department, Callahan inserts himself into the scene of the event at the time when the imminent use of deadly force by the criminals justifies his use of deadly force against them. Conversely, in Sudden Impact, when he finds out that Jennifer Spencer, Sandra Locke, his real girlfriend in real life, the person responsible for a series of murder in San Francisco and Sao Paulo, was a victim of rape, killing her unpunished rapist. He lets her go free, indicating that he feels her retribution was justified. In The Dead Pool, Callahan shoots a fleeing and unarmed mafia assassin in the back and kills the villain in the end with a harpoon, knowing that the man's pistol is out of ammunition. Callahan goes a step further in Dirty Harry, in which he shoots serial killer Charles Scorpio Davis after Davis surrenders and puts his hands in the air. While his partners and many other officers respect and admire Callahan, others see him as unfit to serve on the police force. He often clashes with superiors who dislike his methods, and judges and prosecutors are wary of handling his cases because of frequent violations of the Fourth Amendment and other irregularities. A police commissioner admits that Callahan's unconventional methods get results, but he adds that his successes are more costly to the city and this department in terms of publicity and physical destruction than most other men's failures. Callahan is often reprimanded, suspended, and demoted to minor departments. According to film critic Roger Ebert, it would take an hour in each of these movies to explain why he is not in jail himself. The films reveal little about Callahan's personal background. In the first film, Callahan tells Chico Gonzalez's wife that his wife was killed by a drunk driver. The first film's novelizations explain that Callahan grew up in a neighborhood that describes a hostile relationship between the police and residents. Callahan recalls once throwing a brick at a police officer who picked it up and threw it back. The following sequels show that Harry lives within the city limits of a small studio apartment on Jackson Street in the Nob Hill area, so unfamiliar with his neighbors that they refer to him only as the cop who lives upstairs. In Magnum Force, Harry's friend, Charlie McCoy, says, "We should have done our 20 in the Marines, including that they served or should have served together in the armed forces." A coffee mug on Harry's desk at the police station bears the United States Marine Corps seal. His hobbies appear to be consist of target shooting and playing pool. He usually subsists on a diet of hot dogs, hamburgers, and strong black coffee, which he takes without sugar, and is so unchanging that he simply orders the usual from the staff of his regular eateries. He drinks beer and, on one occasion, apple juice, and both runs and weightlifts in the gym. In Sudden Impact, he acquires a pet dog called Meathead. Harry never assists the victims at a crime scene. The movies came first, then a flurry of novels followed after the movie series ended. So a little bit about our man. Harry Callahan, Dirty Harry.